students. Today botany class, which topic is going to discuss about namely called as plastids. So plastids, it's a came from that unit is called cell biology. The chapter today, which topic is classified as plastids. The word plastids, it's derived from Greek word. That namely called as platicus. From that word, the plastids derived. So, what is the meaning of platicus? That's a car formed or bounded. That's our meaning. But who are first to use the term plastids? That's a commonly called as P.F.U. Champa. When the era 1885, he was the first person to use the term plastids. The Champa, the plastids can be classified as various types depending on structure, functions, and presence of pigments. So they can be classified as various types. Can I list it to be here? First one, chromoplast. That is commonly called as colored plastids. These are generally occur different kinds of fruit structure and different kinds of flower structure because called is a colored plastids. Second thing, chloroplast. That the plastids are generally found in green algae and hair plants. What type of pigments occur in the chloroplast is commonly called as chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Those two kinds of pigments, it must be occur in chloroplast. Third one, pleoplast. That kinds of plastids are generally occur in brown algae and dinoflagellate. What type of pigments are there? It's commonly called as fucosantine. So fucosantine pigments are generally present in chloroplast. Then fourth one, rhodoplast. This is commonly called as a red algae. What type of pigments are there commonly called as phycoerythrin. Then fifth one, leucoplast. That is commonly called as colorless plastids because we don't will find out any kinds of color. This is called leucoplast. Leucoplast responsible for stool, food materials. Then sixth one, amyloplast. That can be responsible for store starch material. Then seventh one, ileoplast, that responsible for store lipids or oil. The lipids or oil generally is found in seeds of monarch and dicot seed. The last one plastids commonly called as proteoplast, or also called aleuroplast, that responsible for store proteins. So these are called different kinds of plastids, namely chromoplast, chloroplast, peioplast, rhodoplast, leucoplast, amyloplast, ileoplast, and proteoplast are also called aleuroplast. For here, according to Chimpa, the plastid can be classified as various types, but the plastids are transformed to one another. For example, chloroplast to chromoplast, chromoplast to leucoplast, chloroplast to leucoplast, leucoplast to chloroplast, so that the chloroplasts are transformed to one another. So according to that plastids, which one plastids can be deeply studied about is namely called as chloroplast. Structure of chloroplast. Chloroplast, it is a vital organelles that is are generally found in all green plants. It may be green algae or green plants of higher plants. The chloroplast, according to different kinds of organelle found on the plant cell, this is that second largest organelle in the plant cell, which is the first largest organelle is commonly called as mitochondria. Then mitochondria, chloroplast is commonly called as second largest organelle. Okay? Yeah. For the structural component, chloroplast is commonly called as, it is a discoidal shape, because the structure is look like a discoidal structure. For the structural view, it can be classified as, they can be possess outer membrane and the inner membrane. This is outer membrane. That is inner membrane. So that we say chloroplast is commonly called as membrane bounded organelle, because they can be possessed to different kinds of membrane, namely called as outer membrane and inner membrane, which is responsible for separate outer membrane and inner membrane, that is commonly called as periplasmic space. So the space that is responsible for differentiate outer membrane and inner membrane. Okay. The inner membrane, it is enclosed the liquidized matrix or lipoprotein substances that is commonly called as stroma. What is it? The inner membrane enclosed gelatinous substances or gel-like substances or lipoprotein matrix that is commonly called as stroma. So stroma is a made up of lipoprotein matrix. Or also called gelatinous gel-like structure. That stroma, it's containing many granules are there. Stroma containing many granules are there. Each grana is commonly called as interconnected. For single one is commonly called as granum. Plural to say grana. Each grana consists of several disc-shaped lamellae is commonly called as thylakoids. What do you say? Each granum consists of several disc-shaped lamellae is commonly called as thylakoids. Each thylakoids having space that is commonly called as thylakoid lumen. For the structural view in the matrix, the thylakoids are arranging, look like piles of coin. How can we arrange the coin, the structural view, like this? The thylakoid or grana they may be arranging. Okay. What are the things it must be present to regarding what a thylakoid? So the thylakoid containing photosynthetic pigments. What is the photosynthetic pigments? Is namely called as chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So those two is commonly called as chlorophyll pigments. Where is occur? Inner to thylakoids. So what are the functions of regarding what chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B? That are responsible for trapped atmospheric solar energy. So solar energy converted into chemical energy. That chemical energy utilized to the stroma. Using stroma, it's a manufacture of carbohydrates. So carbohydrate is commonly called as is a product who responsible manufacture is commonly called as stroma. Which one to be utilizing? From the thylakoids, photosynthetic pigments are there. That photosynthetic pigments trap solar energy. The solar energy converted to the chemical energy. That energy is utilized to the stroma to manufacture of carbohydrates. Then, in the structure of chloroplast, what are the components which are generally present? That's commonly called as osmophilic granules. Then 70S ribosomes. Then DNA. Then RNA. Those are which are generally present in the structure of chloroplast. What type of RNA, DNA there is commonly called as? Is a commonly circular and non-histone DNA is there. For the structural view, The chloroplast of genome includes. So what is the meaning commonly called as genome? Totality of DNAs which are occur in the cell, that's a commonly called as genome. The chloroplast genome is include approximately 30 different kinds of protein which are involved in the process of photosynthesis. What do you say? The chloroplast DNA or the chloroplast genome includes approximately 30 different kinds of proteins are there that are involved in the process of photosynthesis. It is not only involving 30 proteins for photosynthesis, it includes photosystem 1, then photosystem 2, then cytochrome complex is namely called as B2F, then ATP synthase. Those are also responsible for helping the process of photosynthesis. In addition here, ribosco enzyme. That's a collaboration of ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase. That's a commonly called as ribosco. These encodes chloroplast DNA. The ribosco enzyme, it is the most abundant protein on the earth. So in the earth, which proteins are much occur is commonly called as ribosco. The type of enzyme is also occur in the stroma of the chloroplast. In addition here, there is a commonly called as chloroplast DNA. That is RNA. That is the ribosomes. That is the granules. So far here, chloroplast is commonly called as is a double-membered organelle, or also called it is a semi-autonomous organelles. How to the chloroplast is reproduced, or how the chloroplast number that will be increased by the process of fissions. In addition here, I am already indicating to you thylakoid. Thylakoid, you know that several disc-shaped lamellae which are arranging look like piles of coin is commonly called as thylakoid. Each thylakoid, they can be possessed smaller, rounded like structure that can be considered as photosynthetic units. That the photosynthetic unit is commonly called as quantosome. So what are the definition of quantosome? The thylakoid which containing small rounded photosynthetic unit is commonly called as quantosome. How to reproduce that can be structure view? By fission. Next, what is the functions of chloroplast? The first function is commonly called as. So chloroplast, it takes place the greatest function is commonly called as photosynthesis. So what is the photosynthesis? Photo is a light. Synthesis, prepare. With the help of light, its manufacture food material is commonly called as photosynthesis. Which organelles to be carried out is commonly called as chloroplast. So it's called what that takes place the process of photosynthesis. Second thing, chloroplast, it takes place different kinds of reactions. That's called light reaction, it takes place through granum. Likewise, dark reaction takes place through stroma. The fourth one function is commonly called as chloroplast play as important role is commonly called as photorespiration. So what is the meaning of photorespiration? Photo means light. Respiration means respire. So what that? The organism which respire in the presence of light, that's a commonly called as photorespirations. Can I go to the next one, or is commonly called as ribosomes? Also called ribosomes, who are first discovered that kinds of organ is namely called as George Ballard in the era 1953 by using electron microscope. For using electron microscope, the George Ballard to be given as ribosome is commonly called as it is a dense particles or it is a dense granules. What to say? The dense particle or the dense granules, which must be seen by using that electron microscope. In addition to here, by using electron microscope, which will be revealed, the ribosome is commonly called as two rounded subunits. What is it? Ribosome is commonly called as what? Two rounded subunits. The two rounded subunits which is responsible for connect together, that is commonly called as magnesium 2 plus ion. Without the presence of magnesium 2 plus ion, two subunits are not united together. So which is responsible for help two subunits commonly called as magnesium 2 plus. If we allow those subunits, it is not exact a structure, which gives a structural coefficient of ribosome is commonly called as ribosome. That's a commonly called as magnesium 2 plus. So that gives a structural coefficient of ribosome. So that help to binding two subunits. In addition here, ribosome is commonly called as it is a biogenesis of renewal formation. So ribosome is commonly called as, what is called biogenesis? It's synthesized by own without influence any other. That's called biogenesis. What are called renewal formation? That's commonly called as producing abundantly or producing large amount. That's called renewal formation. In addition, Ribosome is commonly called, they can be processed auto-replication. What I call auto, they won't. What a replication? Reproduce. So the copies it responsible produce more by won't. That's called auto-replication. In addition, ribosome, where it can be derived from, it is commonly called as nucleolar origin. So do you know that inner to the nucleus they can be possessed as spherical body is commonly called as nucleolus. From that it must be developed, so that they call nucleolar origin. And in addition to that, among the plant cell or animal cell, which cell it is a site of recording what the photosynthesis. So commonly called as ribosome is commonly called as it is a site of protein synthesis. So already discussing different kinds of organelle. Those every organelle is commonly called as membrane bounded organelle, but ribosome is commonly called as non-membrane bounded organelle. To say ribosome is commonly called what that non-membrane bounded organelle. Okay. The ribosome it can be consist of two different kinds of units are there, namely RNA and protein. Those two it is the components of ribosome. How much the amount of RNA is commonly called as there may be occur, it is a 60%. Protein is there may be occur in 40%. During protein synthesis, I am already indicating to you, there are process two subunits. That are commonly called as process RNA and protein. How much amount? 60% and 40%. During protein synthesis, a single strand of mRNA is there. That is commonly called as mRNA. What is mRNA? Messenger RNA. That is a tRNA. That is commonly called as a transfer RNA. By allowing them, they can be produced amino acids. For the structural view, the ribosome consists of two unequal portions are there. These are commonly called as smaller unit, also called smaller subunit. That is commonly called as larger subunit. So what do you say commonly called as? During protein synthesis, a single strand of mRNA, they can be attached to many ribosomes are there. That is commonly called as polysomes, or also called polyribosomes. What does it say? During photosynthesis, a single strand of mRNA, many ribosomes are that can be attached, that is commonly called as polysome or polyribosome. What is the functions of polysome and polyribosome? They are responsible for synthesis of series of similar polypeptide. What do you say? Several synthesis of similar polypeptide that are responsible produced during a diagram of protein synthesis. They are free in the cell. So it will be occur like the structure. The situation the two subunits are occurring during the condition it is a non-protein synthesis. But here the magnesium 2 plus they can be attached, resulting like texture to forming. That is commonly called as protein synthesis are there. So what is it? They are free from the two subunits is a non-protein synthesis. They are attached to subunits with the help of magnesium 2 plus. They can be produced protein. That is a phenomena of protein synthesis. Because I am already indicating to you, ribosome is commonly called as it is site of protein synthesis in the cell. Next one I am going to discuss about what are differentiation that must be occur. Different types of ribosomes, namely called as 70S ribosomes and 80S ribosomes. 70S ribosome, they can be possess two subunits, namely 30S and 50S. 80S ribosomes also they can be possess two subunits, namely 40S and 60S. What do you say? 70S ribosome they can be possess two subunits, namely 70S and 50S. Likewise, 80S ribosomes also they can be possess two subunits, namely 40S and 60S. Can I go to the first point? S ribosome they can be possess 3 RNA molecule, but 80S they can be possess 4 RNA molecule. These are first things, first definition. Second thing, you know that they can be possess two subunits, you know. That is 30S, that is 50S. The 30S subunit they can be possess 16S rRNA. So 16S rRNA that are found in 30S subunits. Likewise, 23S rRNA and 5S rRNA that is are found in 50S. Once you want to say like this here, 16S rRNA which can be found in subunits of 30S. Likewise, 23S rRNA and 5S rRNA which are found in 50S ribosome units. For 80S, that is commonly called as 40S subunits, that is commonly called as 60S subunit. In 40S subunits, they can be possessed 18S rRNA. So 18S rRNA which are found in 40S subunits. Likewise, here 28S rRNA, 28S rRNA, 5.8 rRNA, 5 rRNA, those are all found in 50S. So what to say? 18S rRNA which are found in subunit of 40S. But 28 sRNA, 5.8 RNA, 5 RNA, those are found in 60s ribosomal unit because that is a commonly called as a larger unit. That is a commonly called a smaller unit. So maximum amount of RNA molecule which are responsible found in 16S in 18S, 50S in regarding what is 70S types. Okay. The 70S ribosomal subunits, it is generally found in where? That is a commonly called as, which are usually situated in eukaryotic cells. So eukaryotic cells are found in 80S, but 70S ribosomes are generally found in prokaryotic cells. What are the components must be included regarding prokaryotic? Blue-green algae, BGA, bacteria, mitochondria, then chloroplasts. In chloroplasts are predominantly found in various commonly called as algae and hydroplasts. But 18S ribosomes are generally found in eukaryotic cell. What is eukaryotic cell? Plants and animal. I finally am indicating 2. What do you mean S? You know that every people they may be arising regarding what a doubt. What is S? S is nothing but the Swedish botanist, namely called it Svedberg. Svedberg is the first person to find out, to measure a ribosomal molecule at a different kinds of speed by using centrifugal apparatus. If you are using different kinds of speed means the different kinds of unit that can be deposited as a particles. That particle they may be utilized to analyze. He was the first person. Ribosome is commonly called as it is a dense granule or dense particle. That's why when the year of 1929 that government they may be provided regarding for Nobel Prize. That's a commonly called as S is nothing but Svedberg unit. So S is called what? Svedberg units. Thank you.